Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 1109 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today we're going to talk about voice cloning. This is a way to really increase a lot of the content you can put out very, very easily. And I'm still going to use my real voice and talk to you in person, but boy, for a lot of stuff, wait till you hear all the stuff you can do with it. All right, hope you didn't miss episode 1108. That was YouTube avatars. This is spectacular, spec-YouTubular, okay? Oh my God, I was able in about 30 seconds with this feature of YouTube on the mobile app. I think you can do it on the desktop, but it's much easier on the mobile. And about 30 seconds, it cloned me, and then I could make a prompt and put my clone anywhere I felt like, any crazy idea I could think up. And you can see in the show notes, I put myself on top of the Artemis moon rocket and had Fly Me to the Moon playing in the background. So check that out, episode 1108. Anytime you want to get to a back episode, you go to screwthecommute.com/ and any episode number, YouTube avatars, spectubular at 1108. All right, pick up a copy of my automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/automate free. Version 3.0 is the latest. However, when I talk about short keys, it's been discontinued and it's now a browser extension. And keep in mind, that program alone and that one thing in my automation book we estimated, saved me 10 million keystrokes. And that's not hype, okay? So this can really free up your time or let you get enormous amounts more work done than you normally would. Okay, let's see. Check out my mentor program at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com and my school at imtcva.org. Certified to operate by Chev. All right, let's talk about voice cloning. Now, there's tons of places that'll do this, but by far considered the best is 11 Labs. That's, you spell it out, ELEVEN Labs. And you can really, in about a minute or so, clone your voice. But if you want the super high quality clone of your voice, they have a section called PVC. That's like the pipe at Home Depot. Professional voice cloning. And you can put 30 minutes to a couple hours of you reading stuff and talking into 11 Labs, and then it clones your voice. And then there's advanced things you can do, but this is just the basics right now I'm going to tell you about. And, I usually am talking about stuff that I'm doing myself, so I'm right in the middle of developing my clone training to train 11 Labs. And then also, one of the things you can do is take any books you have or ebooks and turn them into audiobooks, because the clone will read it for you in your voice. Now, you normally don't do this like the whole book at once because you don't want to have to fix errors, especially in the beginning when you get the feel for this and make sure that your clone is pronouncing things and sounding like you. So another thing on audiobooks is you really need to throw it into an AI like ChatGPT and say to humanize this and make it conversational for audio. Because if you just read exactly what you wrote in a grammatical fashion, it's going to be pretty boring. So that's highly suggested, but ChatGPT will do it for you in a few minutes. All right, if you just tell it to do that. All right, so that's one thing, is creating audiobooks. Also, you can have it narrate courses for you and make everything consistent for you. When you create a course, a lot of times it's over multiple days, and you could be tired one day or you could be hoarse the next day, and you don't have a consistency across the course. Well, this takes care of that problem. You just write out the course in the way you would speak it, or, have one of the AIs help you with that, and then put it into your cloned voice, and it's going to be very consistent across all their different modules. Another thing I'm working on is AI avatars, and you can use these in YouTube and Instagram Reels and advertisements and stories, Facebook stories. And one of the really great things about this is you can test multiple angles of your ads and your reels and all your other things. And you can test, the testing is more on ads because you don't want to put 5 different versions of the same reel up, okay? They'll probably get you banned. But if you're testing ads, you can test your hooks and your angles and your calls to action just by writing out different ones and throwing it in the clone. You don't have to re-record stuff like crazy, see? So it's just beautiful. You can use them for lead magnets and samples of your course and ebooks. You could just pull a sample of your course and use it as a lead magnet. And of course, that's supposed to lead, it's a sample of the course that leads people to buy the whole course or the ebook. Video sales letters, again, you can use them. Webinars, people are using them for. Now, you can't really answer questions with them. I guess you could if you're super geeky and made a chatbot, but part of this thing why I don't go crazy with this stuff is because your personality and your real being is what makes the great connection with people. This clone and avatar clones are basically just to expand your reach. All right. But you really need to close the deal yourself. All right. So far. But that's just my not so humble opinion. All right. But anyway, you can do customer service and make chatbots with this clone, and social, all kinds of social media content. You can even make money by licensing your voice. You can make money on many of the places that use voices. If you have a unique voice or just any kind of voice, as long as you put a nice clear sample up there, someone else will pay to use your voice. Now, I don't think it's enormous amounts of money, but it could be if you had a really unique voice. So something that I'm looking for in the future after I get the basic core voice done is I can make a serious version, a funny version, a storytelling version of my clone, and it'll improve over time. See, and it'll get better and better and better. So that's something you can do. If you go to 11labs.com, I think you can start for free, but I think to get the professional voice clone, you have to get their $22 a month program. Sometimes you can find a coupon and make it $11 a month for so long. I don't know. But I think the regular voice clone, where you just talk for a few minutes into the microphone or upload something you've already recorded, and you can make a pretty decent one for free in a few minutes. So this is something that's really going to help you expand and get a lot more work done, whether you feel like it or not, whether you got your hoarse, whether you got a cold, you can still keep cranking stuff out. All right, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Check out my mentor program, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and my school at imtcva.org, the only licensed dedicated internet and digital marketing school in the country, probably the world, and it is certified to operate by SCHEV, the State Council on Higher Education in Virginia, but you don't have to be in Virginia because it's quality distance learning, and it's going to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars of sending. And when I say hundreds of thousands of dollars, you say, oh, okay, well, the tuition's only $20,000. But the thing is you're out of the workforce, and they make you buy these worthless books. And they're even cheating with that now. If you ever took my quiz at imtcva.org/quiz, you would see how they're ripping you off on books so you can't resell them, that kind of stuff. And housing and food and beer money and just living expense, clothes, and the whole bit, gasoline, insurance, if you got a car there. So all this adds up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, way above what the basic tuition was. And then here's something you can look forward to when they graduate and they throw their cap up in the air, and then they head straight to make a application at Starbucks. Okay, so and I'm laughing, but it is a sad story. All right, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's hear that voice clone of yours. Let's see, go over to 11 Labs and check it out. All right, catch you later.